In this lesson, we'll go over employee appraisals. We'll cover creating appraisal forms, designing surveys, and managing appraisals. The first thing we'll need to do is to install the Appraisal app if we haven't already. For this demo, I've already installed it, so we'll see two new apps on our dashboard: Appraisal for managing appraisals and Surveys for creating the appraisal forms. Let's open Surveys now to create an appraisal form. We will create two forms, one for employees and one for managers. The first survey will be the appraisal form filled out by employees. We'll call it Employee Appraisals Form. Each survey is made up of pages with questions on each page. For this survey, we'll create 3 pages to demonstrate some of the possibilities. We can click here to add our first page to our survey. We'll call it General Information. We can add questions to this page by clicking here. This will open a form where we can name our question and select the type of question from the list. Let's select single-line text box for this question. In the Options tab, we can select whether to make each question mandatory. We can then select Save and New to create our second question, Position Title, which will also be a single line of text, and a mandatory answer. I'll quickly create another question. And for the fourth question, Date of Review, we'll select the type Date and Time. Notice the preview to the right of the radio buttons. Now we can click Save and New to create the second page of our form. We'll call it Employee Performance Key Area and add just one question, which we'll call Employee. This question will be of the type Matrix. Matrix type questions consist of rows of questions with multiple choice answers. For this question, we want our employees to rate each quality from 1 to 5, so we'll add these numbers to the Choices section. And in the Rows section, we will add the qualities we would like them to rate. And then we can click Save and Close to finish this page. And we'll move on to create our final page, which we'll call Employee Comments. We'll add just one question to this page. And we'll set it as a multiple line text box. Then we'll save and close the question, save and close the page, and save the survey. Now that we have our questions set up, we can design the layout of the survey using the website builder by clicking Design Survey. To design the first page, let's click Start Survey. And then select Edit from the top right-hand corner of the screen. Then we can drag and drop content blocks onto the page, like this text block. I'll fast forward through changing this text, and then save the changes. When we finish designing the survey, we can click Back to Survey here to take us back to the survey backend. Let's create another short survey for use by managers. We'll call it the Employee Opinion Form. We'll create 2 pages for this survey with 2 questions, which I'll add on Fast Forward now. After we save this survey, we need to change it from draft to permanent, and the same for the other survey. And now let's look at using the surveys we've just created in an employee appraisal. From the app's dashboard, let's open the Employees app and Peter Parker's form. Installing the Appraisals app has added a new Appraisal tab, where we can choose how to appraise each employee. When we choose to send an appraisal form to managers, Ronald is suggested because he is Peter's manager. We can also add as many other managers as necessary to this field, and we can choose which form we would like to send here. Let's also send the form to Peter. We'll send him the Employee Appraisal Form. Let's make this a periodic appraisal, repeating every year, starting on August 31st. We can also create an appraisal manually here, and click Create. Here we can choose a deadline for the form to be filled, and an interview date. We can also choose who to send the appraisal forms to if this is different from what we filled out in the employee form. Then we can save the appraisal and start the appraisal and send the forms. This will send 2 emails, one to the manager, Ronald, and one to the employee, Peter. Let's log in now as Peter Parker and in his email, we see a link to the appraisal form. I'll fill this page out on fast forward and move on to the next page, where we see the matrix type question we set up earlier. And on the next page, we can add a comment and submit. And then we can review our answers at the end. Now let's switch over to Ronald's screen and fill out the manager survey. We'll fast forward through this survey and review our answers. Now, switching back to the administrator account, which grants us HR Manager access rights, we can open the Appraisals app to see appraisals in progress. We see that we have 2 forms related to Peter Parker's appraisal sent, both of which have been filled out. If we click on the answers, we can see the status of the answers and open them to print the answers. This takes us to the web interface where we can see but not modify the answers. We can also select View Results to see the survey answers. This concludes our lesson on employee appraisals. Thanks for watching.